Okay. Doing part 2. And I'm going to go ahead and cut the pattern paper. I'm going to follow the schematics that you have on the PDF. And there's no rhyme or reason really why I'm cutting this part or that part. What I will do, however, is keep the papers that have more pattern on it, more decorative items like cutouts. I'm going to keep them those aside, and I will use those to find areas to decorate my album with. So over here, I mean, some of them I can use the back side, but as you can see, I have 2 of each, so I can keep at least one on this side, and the other one I can use for the background. So for this, I'll put this aside. 2, and I have this one. I'll keep these 2 aside. And these 2. But also what I want to do is I'm going to turn some of them around this way so that I'll have more options. Like that. Put this one here. And this is the pattern papers and the pattern and solids. I'm really not going to use the solid parts. I'm going to use the pattern part because I already have 6 sheets that are solids. Okay, so these are my solids. All right. So always take this piece out, the end of it. It's not calculated into the side, to the size of the pattern paper. So whenever you're cutting a piece, the first part that goes is this. Okay. The second thing you want to do is you want to keep it upright because the cut is always upright. That's how I did the schematics. It will happen here and there that one of the cuts will end up having to be displayed this way. Just if, that's just the nature of this particular way that I did the cutting. It will happen, and I apologize in advance. If that happens, feel free to just turn it over to the other side and use it that way. Okay. Okay, another option that you will have is just to use one of those pieces that we put aside and use that one instead. Okay, this one I know which one I'm using it for. Okay. All right, so let's begin. I'm going to start with a couple of basic rules. So again, the first basic rule is always cut in the cut list. First position it upright, okay? And make sure that it's 12 by 12 so that your measurements are going to come out correct. Second is we're going to mark all of our pieces. So make sure you have a pencil because you might want to erase it. Like if I'm doing this piece and I'm cutting it, and I will write something here, you know, in the right or in the red. It depends. And you decide, I don't want to use this side, I want to use the other side, and all of a sudden you have a marking here. You should be able to erase it with your eraser. Fairly easy. And then you can use that piece. Okay. So I'm going to go show you how my principle is for cutting so that it will be easy for you to follow. So I always look, let me see, you know what I'm going to try and do? I'm going to try to show you on my iPad. Okay. So you can see here in the schematic, okay, that there are always lines that I'm looking where it's a straight line that I can start with. Okay. The measurement of each of the parts are here. So if I say, you know, cut between C5-2 and E2-1, this is where I'm going to go ahead and cut it. And the measurements are going to be here. They're not in the schematic. Okay. So this is where I'm going to start. I'm going to start with A2-1 first, which is 7 1/4. And I'm going to take this here and I'm going to cut 7 1/4 all the way down. Okay. And A2-1 is the piece right here at the bottom. So I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to cut it 7 1/4 again. And this is A2-1. You want to immediately take your pencil. I'm just going to sharpen it just a little bit. Okay. A2-1. Now, why is it A2-1? It's A2 because it's in section A, part 2. So in this will go on section A2. -1, the dash tells you that it's the pattern paper. Okay. Sometimes in one section you'll have more than one. A2, then you'll have A2, A2-2, A2-3, A2-4, etc. So you might have more than just a -1. Okay, so this is the first part. And then we're going to keep all of those parts here. And then we're going to divide them. Okay. So this is the second piece. This is the one that was on top, which is C5-2. And I want the top part to be 6 inches and this part to be 5 inches. Okay. I'm going to cut it here at 6 inches. And if I turn it over, it's a little less than 5. It's because I cut this at 6 1/4, so this is a little less. It's actually 4 3/4. Now I'm going to go ahead and fix this to be 4 3/4. Four and 3/4. Yeah, I do make corrections as I go along. Okay, so this is C5-2. I'll put all of these here. All right. And then I'm going to move on to E2-1. E2 is 4 3/4 by 8. So I'm going to do, cut it here to 8. And here at 4 3/4. All right, so 4 3/4 by 8 is E2-1. Six by. Okay. All right, the last piece that I have left here is this one. It's E9-1. And E9-1 is 4 1/4 by 4. So this is before, and this will be 4 1/4. There we go. So these two pieces are my remnants, and I want you to keep all of those little pieces because you're going to need them. You're going to need them when you do your tags, or you're going to need them to make corrections, or adding to photo mats, or to the decoration. Okay. So what I do is I keep a tray or something here, and this is a tray, and I just keep it in my tray, and I put everything there. Okay, so I'm separating the parts that are marked from the remnants. So this is E9-1. This is E2-1. This is C5-2 and A2-1. Okay. So you can choose to do the next one in the same paper, or you can just switch it. I'm going to go ahead and switch it a little bit, and I'm going to do this one. So again, I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to do page 2 now. This is page 2. Okay. And page 2, I'm going to turn it around to 45 degrees, and I'm going to start at the bottom. Okay. So D2-1 is 4 inches by 7.5. So I want to cut this here at the 4 inches. Okay. Here we go. This piece will be cut 3 pieces, D5-1, B3-3, and D7-1. So D5-1 is 8 by 4. So I'm going to cut it here to 4. Okay, we can turn it around. And again, you can mark it with a pencil or with a different color pencil. D5-1. This will be B3-3, which is 3.5. Okay. And D7-1 is 4 by 8. So I need to trim a 1/2 inch. I'm going to trim this side. Okay. And I may want to do this side. So I'm going to mark this one here, D7-1. Okay. Now those two pieces, I'm going to do D2-1, which is 4 by 7.5. Okay. So this is D2-1. And this is D1-1. 4 by 4. Here we go. Okay. So these are the two pieces that I have left. All right. Next, page 3. I think I will do this one. Okay, so D2-2 is the biggest piece. And at the bottom of it is where I have a straight line going from the left to the right. So I'm going to turn it around first of all and take this out. And then I'm going to cut it again at 8 inches. So this goes to 4. So I divide it to 8 and 4. The D2-2 is 8 by 7. So I want to cut this here at 7. And I want to cut this here at the 11-3 to 3 3/4. Okay. Okay, so this is E11-3. Really see it. And this is D2-2. The bottom is E1-1, 8 by 4. This is E1-1. And this is D1-1. Okay, and that's all I have left from this one. On to page 4. Okay. We'll switch it around. Let's do this one for page 4. So page 4 is straightforward. I'm going to cut at 4 inches on the bottom and 8 inches here. And again, 8 inches here. And here we go. So this is D4-2, D8-1, D4-1, and D1-1. Okay, page 5. Page 5. Looking for something interesting. How about this? This is interesting. Okay. Okay, so looking at this schematic, I see between D2 and D6, I see a line that goes all the way straight down. So the width of D6-2 is 4 inches. I'm going to go ahead and cut at 4. Okay, so that's the first cut. I'm going to put it aside. And this one on the bottom, now I can cut from corner to corner. E11-4 is 8 inches by 3 3/4. So I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to cut it here at 3 3/4. Okay, so this is E11-4, which is 8 by 3 3/4. Okay, and now I can go ahead and cut the D11s out and the D6-4. So the D6-4 again is 4 inches by 6. So this is D6-4. This piece is a remnant. And these are D11-1s that are 7.5 by 1. So I'm going to cut it here to 7.5. Put this aside. And now I'm going to cut 4 strips of 1 inch. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So these are D11-1. And I'm going to mark each and every one of them. Okay. Now we go back to this first piece that I took out. I'm going to remove D6-2 from the top. So this is D6-2. And again, I have, from this piece, I'm going to cut 4 parts, 5.5 by 1. So we're going to cut it to 5.5. Move this out. One, 2, 3 and 4. And these are D11-2. Okay. Next. Next is page 6. All right. So for page 6, how about I'll do this one. Okay. So I'm going to do C4-1 and C4-2, which are 6 by 7. And I see it cut in the middle. So it's cut at 6 inches by 7 here. So if I'm cut it here at the 6-inch line, at the 5-inch line, I'm cutting it to 7 inches here. And put it to sift. I have 2 pieces that are 6 by 7. They'll be C4-1 and C4-2. I can choose to do one like this and one like that, or both the same. C4-1, and I'm going to mark this one at C4-2. Now this is E5-1. I have 2 of them, 6 by 3. So I just want to cut it to 3 inches here. And this is my remnant. And I'm going to cut it to 6 inches here. Okay. E5-1, E5-1. Okay, C5-1 fits perfectly into this one. Okay, so we need 6 pieces that are 4 by 6. I'm just going to follow the guidelines of the cards. All right. Oh, we can also use the back side if we want. It's postcards. It's pretty all the same. So C5-1. I mark them all the same number because it really depends on the image that you want. They're all going to go on a waterfall, and you can decide where you want to place them. So I didn't want to decide that for you. All right, next is C8, page 8. I'm sorry, page 8. Page 8 will have one that is triangles. Yay! All right. So I think maybe we'll do this one. I like that one. Okay. So for C8, again, you look at the bottom part here is where between C3-2 and C8-1, there's a straight line that goes from left to right. That's going to be my first cut. So I'm measuring C3-2 is 6¼ inches. Actually, I'm going to turn it around like that. I'm going to measure here 6¼ and yep, I'm going to do it that way. Okay, so here we go. So C3-2 is 6¼ is this one here. This is 5¼ so they both are at 8. I'm going to take 8 out. And this is F10 and I'm going to do 8 here. And this is C3-2. And this one is F10-3. Okay, now I have these two pieces left. Now I'm supposed to keep this one together. All right. This is still supposed to stay together. All right, I'm just going to glue it back together. I did not mean to cut it. I'm just going to turn it over. I'm going to take some tape. All right. All right. Not exactly, but it'll do. Okay. Okay, so C8-1, 7 inches. By 3.5. Okay. This is C8-1. So these are remnants. Okay. Now I want to take out the triangles. Okay. So from here to here, the triangles that I need to take out is let me see. This is the piece that it's going to go on. It's going to go here. Actually, a little further down because over here I have a strip of gold that goes there. So we'll go here, and I'm just going to measure to make sure that I give you the right information because I forgot what it's supposed to be. So I put it here where it has a little bit of border on both sides and on the bottom. I'll start from here to here. All right. Okay, so it's about 2 5/8 from here. Yeah, just about 2 5/8. Okay. And I'm going to use it as a template. Cut the other side. Okay, so this thing here glitter goes right on top of it here like that, leaving about 1/4 of an inch on the top. That's perfect. 2 5/8 by 2 5/8. Okay. So now those little triangles that we're cutting out, I'm going to leave these on the side as well. The only thing is I cut out my marking that it's F10-3. So I need to correct that. Right? F10-3. Okay. Next up, I'm going to go up to page 9. So page 9, I have C5-1, and then I have little strips there. So again, I'm looking for something interesting for this one, because this is going to be the top of my waterfall. I'm going to go actually to my images here. See if I can find something interesting here. And I have this one. Okay. I don't have to, because I can use one of the other ones I have. I also have this one. What is the width of this? 5.5. Needs to be 6.25, which is a little more. This could be interesting. This piece here. Or I can just go for something more simple. You know what? I'm going to go with something a little more mellow. And then maybe I can put something in the middle. I'm going to use this one. Okay. Very pretty. All right. Again, I'm going to cut at 4 inches here. Turn this 90 degrees, cut it at 8 inches. Okay, so this one is E11-1. I'm going to cut this one at 6.25. Okay, I'm going to have to change this one. How many I have? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 5. Cut this to 5. So this is C1 or C5-1. And these babies right here, I'm going to cut to 1/2 inch each one. One, 2, 3, Okay. Going to mark those C5-5. Okay. So now we come to B2-2, which is 8 by 2 3/4. And 2 pieces that are I1 that are 3/4 by 8. One and 2. This is I1. And 2 pieces remnants. All right. Next up, B1-1 for page 10. Okay. All right, I'm going to cut this at 8. I'm going to go around this way, and I'm going to cut B6-1 from here, which is 4 by 4.5. Here we go. This is B6-1. Here we have B1-1, which is 4 by 8. So I'm going to cut it at 4 inches and call it red, B1-1. I'm going to do 2 pieces that are 3/4 of an inch. That's 1. That's 2. I1. And the F13-1s are 6.5 by 8. And I have to cut 8 strips. Okay, so the strips are 1 inch. I'm just going to go ahead and start cutting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. All right, so I can choose to do this side or this side. Okay. I'm going to mark it with a pencil. F13. Yes. Providing I will find it. It's going to be hard to find. Okay. Okay. We are to the B's and D's. I think maybe I'll do this one now. Okay. So we're going to cut it between the B2 line and the B5. Again, we're going to do 8 divided to 8 and 4. So B5-1 is 4 by 4.5. And the D1-1 is 4 by 4. B2-1 is 2 3/4 by 8. B2-1. B3-1 is 6 1/4 by 8. And now I have 4 strips, B17 and B18, that are B17, B18. I don't know why I did not write it here. Seven and a half by 3/4. One, two, three, and 4. And I have a little strip of 1 inch left. Okay, so this will be B17 -1 -2 and B18-1 and B18-2. Okay, doke. All right, we did page 11. We're going to do page 12 now. So page 12, again, it's a lot of strips. Looking for one that I can use both directions. Not that much, but maybe I'll just use this one. Yeah, I'm going to take this one. I'll use the solid for this. Okay. So first I'm going to cut it at 8 inches here. And these two pieces to 6 by 4. So I have D6-1 and D6-2. Okay. So we'll take out the first two, which is B10 and B11 and B12, that are 1 inch. B10, no, 3/4. B12 is 1 inch. Doesn't make any sense. All right, so I'm just going to take 1 inch and 1 inch here. Okay. Okay. All right. This is B11-1. And this will be B12-1. B10-1 and B10-2. Okay. So this is supposed to be 3 by 3 3/4. I'm going to leave it at 4 for now. Okay. Okay, F5, F51, F52, F61, F62. Six by 1. All right, I'm going to mark those. F51, F52, F61, F62. All right, they're marked. Now we'll do the B17 and B18, which are 3/4 of an inch by 7.5. And E18-1 and B18-2. They're 7 by 1. Okay. One, two. B17-3. B17-4. B18-3. B18-4. And this should be E18-1 and E18-2. Okay. Okay. I'm going to take another solid here for page 13. Again, we're going to cut it to 8 and 4. The bottom piece is the 4 inches. I'm going to cut to 2 parts of 6 by 4. Oops. And this will be A3-1. It's the sticky stuff here. And A3-2. Oh, that sticky stuff doesn't want to go away. Go away, go away. All right. The edge is A7-1 is 1 1/4 by 8. So this is A7-1. C3-1 is 2 1/2 by 8. It's 1, 2 1/2. C3-1. Now I have I1, which is 3 1/4 by 8. Okay. A6-2 is a 7 by 1. I'm going to turn it around and do the whole thing 7 inches. Okay, so I have here. Okay, A6-2, 7 by 1. A6-2. And the A5-1 is 7 by 6. We'll remove this, and I have this A5-1. Okay. A14. Okay. I cut 8 and 2 pieces of 4x6 again. So this one is A4-1 and A4-2. We'll do B13-1, which is 2x8. So let's cut this 2 inches. D5 is 4 inches. And C2 is 2.5. I don't know why I have a feeling this should have been 2.5 also. But we will see. I might have to correct it later. Might be correcting some things as I put this together. But I have this piece of remnant that if I need to go back to it, I have it. All right, 15. Page 15. All right. Difficult decisions. Okay. I'm going to do this one. Okay. So we're going to cut it here in the middle at 6. And A5-2 is 6x7. So I'm going to cut that at 7. And I might like this. A5-2. Okay. Now I have D3 and D1. So D3-1, D3-2 are 3x5. So this is 5 inches by 6. I'm going to cut it in half. I have two pieces, D3-1 and D3-2. Okay. So here, A3-3, 4x6. Let's cut this to 4. Okay. A3-3. A2-6 is 4x1 and 7/8. Maybe we'll do the bottom. Okay, so I just cut this from the bottom just because I have the letters here. A2-6. And B7-1 is 4x3.5. Here we go. This is B7-1. So this here for the strips. A6-1 and A6-2 are 1x7. And D12 and 1 and 2, 4.25 by 1. D12-1 and D12-2. Okay, we're about halfway done. Okay. So maybe I'll do this one. Uh, all right, I just need to do a little correction here. All right, so for page 16, because I don't need the whole page, I think I'm just going to use this part here. Okay. So first I want to cut those 2 strips, and these are 3 3/4 of an inch. No, sorry, they're 1 inch. So I need to cut 1 and 1. Let's take 2 inches out from here. Okay. Okay, so this I'll use the other side. So this will be B11-2 and B12-2. And this will be B9-1 and 1-2. Cut to 3 3/4. Okay. And B9-2. Okay, and this I can use for other things. All right, let's cut F11-1 out of it. It's 8 by 3.5. Okay. So it'll be F11-1. Okay, page 17. I think I will do page 17, this one. Okay, I'm going to cut it down the middle here at 6 inches. I'm going to cut here at 3.5. Okay, so here I cut it to 3 different parts. The top part will be cut to 6 by 4, so 4 by 4 by 4. That's 1. 2 and 3, 3 4 by 6s. A4-4, A2-4, A2-3. Okay, F11-2 is 8 inches by 3.5. This is F11-2. And this is B8-1. Maybe we'll do the other side. Okay, and this is C5-3. We're going to have strips of 3/4 of an inch. That's one. That's two. That's three. And we're going to trim it at 6 inches. So 6 by 3/4. All right, these are C5-3. Okay. Now this fun one. All right. Kind of big. I don't know. Maybe I'll do this one. Okay. So for this, we're going to cut at 8 inches again. The A3-4, I'm going to cut at 6 inches. Call that A3-4. This is A2-5. I'm going to cut it at 1 7/8. So this is A2-5. That's a remnant here. And these two pieces, we are going to cut 6 inches. So I have two pieces that are 8 by 6. And remember the template of triangle that I have here will be 2 5/8. Cut a triangle at 2 5/8. Okay. I'm going to turn it around the other side so that I can place my template and mark it. And cutting out the triangles. Okie dokie, here we go. I have two parts that are the same. F10-2 and F10-4. Okay, next. Okay. I don't know, maybe we'll do this one. Kind of like those small beach huts. I'm going to cut 2 inches from the left and 2 3/4 of an inch from the right. 2 3/4. Okay. I'm going to cut 2 inches and 2 inch. So I have 2 2-inch squares. This is B4-1. and B4-2. This one is B14-1. And the B3-3, I'm going to cut to 8 inches here. If I want to do it from the bottom or from the top. Okay. Beautiful. This will be B3-3. Okay, so the top is C8-1, which is 7 by 3.5. And here I'm going to cut the B2-3, B2-4, and C6-1. So B2-3 is 2 3/4. And B2-4 is 2 3/4. And C6-1 is 1.5. So I need to trim just a smidgen. Okay. And cut it to 8. C6-1. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'll do it the other side. We'll see. B2-3 and B2-4. This has to be cut to 8 also. Sorry, I think we need to trim a little bit. Okay. Okay, so I'm taking a solid color. I'm going to do A1-2 first. Sorry, E1-2, which is 8 by 3 3/4. Okay, so E1-2. I'm going to cut it here at 6 inches. A4-4 will be 4 by 6. And the C9-1, 2, 3, 4 is going to be 1 inch each. Okay, C9. And I need C7-1, which is 4 by 4.5. C7-1. Okay, I think I will do this one. Okay. A1-2 is 8 by 3.25. We'll cut 3.25. D10-1 is 8 by 4. We'll probably use this side. We'll do D10-1 and D9-1. It's also 8 by 4. Okay, and these are going to be C5s. So C5-4 is 6 by 3/4. One, two, okay, and this can go on the side. Okay, C5-4. Okay. All right, E2-2 is 8x8. E1-1 is 8 1/4, and I don't really have 8 1/4, so no, we'll do this one, I guess. 8 1/4. 8 1/4 by 3 1/4. Then 8 1/4. No, I messed up. I messed up. Okay. Okay, I'm going to put it back together. All right. Okay, so I want this one, which is 8 1/4, to be by 3 3/4. Okay. So this is A1-1. And this one, that's 8 inches to be by 3 1/4. This is G1-1. It's kind of idiotic. I should really do it the other way around. This should be A1, and this should be G1. Okay, but I did not do it, so that's that. Okay, F1-1. Okay. Eight by 8. That's F1-1. E11-2 is 8 by 4. E12-5 is 8 by 4. And E6-1 is 4 by 4. Straight up is simple enough. Done. Okay. Page 24. Okay. We'll do this one at 3 3/4 by 8. E12-6. And this is E16-1. You just need to trim it to, no, it's perfect. E16-1. Okay, so here we'll do 7 by 7. That's a remnant here. And the 7 by 7, I'm cutting to 5 and 2. So this piece is going to go the other side and like that. Okay, and I'm cutting a triangle here. So I basically need 4 of these. I need 2 to be on the right and 2 to be on the left. F2s and F3s. I think that's the first one. This is F7-1. This is F2-1. Okay. That's the E. Okay. Okay, so E13s are 8 inches tall. So E13-1 and E13-3 are 3 3/4. And E13-3 is 3. Okay, so this is 3. This is 3 3/4. And 3 3/4. E13-1. E13-3. And E3-1. Okay. E12-1 and -2 is 4 by 4. And E12-2. Okay. So the F3 is 7 by 7. Let's go ahead and cut 7. I'm going to cut this out. So this is F7-2. And this will be 5. And I'm going to cut it on the right this time. This is F3-1. Okay, so this will be one on the right, one on the left. I think we can straighten it out a little bit. Okay, this will be E6-2, right? It's 4 by 4 and E7-1. Okay. It's 4 1/4 by 4. No, it doesn't match. Okay, yeah, so this one, A7-1, is 4 1/4 by 3, but I may want to leave it. I don't know if I want to cut it shorter. I'm going to leave this one at 5 by 3. Just going to leave that. E7-1. Okay. Okay, so now we're doing E2-3. I'm sorry, E12-3 and E12-4. They're 4 by 4. So let's cut this 4 by 4. 1 and 2. E12-3. E12-4. Okay. G3-1 and H3-1. So I need 4 of them that are 4 1/4 by 1. Okay. All right, it's 4 1/4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. This is G3-1 and H3-1.